Everything needs to happen in moderation. And just because someone has one diet doesn't mean that you have to copy every single diet that I do or what someone else does. It's just about adapting your diet to your day-to-day life and adapting your diet where you can just eat anything you want, but it's like a healthier alternative and you're just eating things in moderation. You might have noticed in my diet that I have little to no salt and I have little to no dairy. When it comes to having too much salt, it makes you want to drink more water. And not because you're drinking water to be hydrated, it's just so that you can recover from like the effects of having salt. And the effects that salt has on people is that it makes them tired, it makes them feel more lazier, it makes your face even feel puffier as well. You have to realize the foods which you normally have, it ages you completely. Because for example, when people are younger, they want to look older, but when people are older, they want to look younger. I don't want to be telling you what to do, but I'm just here to like recommend what you can be doing. But yeah, let me just tell you what my diet consists of. Because in my diet at the moment, I may just have little to no salt. And the reason for that is because I want to gain confidence. I want my skin to be as clear as possible. And then you might notice as well that you crave more salt. You can't just give in to your cravings all the time. When you have healthier alternatives, the food which you used to have, you don't really crave it as much. And that's what I really wanted to say, because the more salt that you're having, the more that you crave salt in everything that you eat. You're basically drinking water to recover from the effects of salt and not to actually keep your body hydrated. And I did hear this somewhere where your body is made up of 70% of water. If you're drinking too much and you're also eating too much, sometimes it's not even what you're eating, but it can be the portion sizes. And that's what I'm going to say, because the thing is, I don't measure how much I'm eating all the time. When you're able to track everything, you realize, are you gaining weight or are you losing weight? And that's the whole reason of why you should be tracking the meals and drinks you're having. You don't want it to be that because you're dehydrated that it really shows on your face. So that's what I wanted to say, because when it comes to having a good diet on the inside, it reflects on how you look on the outside. So it's mainly proteins, carbohydrates, fats, protein, and calories. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about protein, because in my diet I normally have protein meals, whether it's egg, and it's mostly boiled egg. I don't really have fried egg because of the excess oil on like the frying pan. That's why I don't really have fried egg as much. I used to for like an English breakfast, which is very British of me. When it comes to frying egg, you may not miss that experience where you realize it's so greasy that you add tissue to actually wipe it. And you have to realize that when you're frying egg for the most part, or anything that you really fry, you realize that there's so much grease and there's additional calories. I want you to just think about these things and to be more aware of it, because that's why I try and eat things high in protein. So rather than eating fried egg, I eat boiled egg. And I eat boiled egg with things that I can cook in the oven, such as potato waffles, chicken dippers. And that's why most of my diet consists of oven cooked food. Food that you cook in the oven is a healthier alternative to the food that you would normally fry. So that's why when it comes to protein, I just eat egg and I eat anything to do with chicken that is cooked in the oven. And I'm sorry for all the vegans that are watching this video, but I do love a barbecue chicken. So now I'm going to move on to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are things such as pasta, such as bread. And the thing is, pasta is something new that I added to my diet. Instead of eating white bread, I'm eating brown bread as my carbohydrates, because brown bread is more healthier and it has more fiber, I believe. It has more fiber, and also when it comes to really brown bread, you realize that you don't feel as tired afterwards once you eat it. Because that's the thing, when it comes to carbohydrates, if you eat so much of it, it makes you so tired. So for example, you know when you have bread and then you add butter to it, that's why when it comes to my diet, I try and avoid dairy as much as I can. But then when it comes to really pasta, I make sure that I focus on the portion sizes. Because if you think about it, a pasta comes in like a packet. Most people can finish an entire pasta packet all to themselves. And especially when you're adding seasoning to it. And I know I'm going to get roasted for not adding seasoning to my pasta, or really most of the things I'm eating. But I just have to be honest with you, because I know that, for example, what I'm eating may not taste the best, but it's something that I can actually stick to. And that's really the whole point of really having a diet. You just need something that you can stick to and to not restrict yourself. And some people may say that carbohydrates, you shouldn't be eating them at all. But that's why you have to think about it. Without the protein, without carbohydrates, without fats, and without fibers and anything else, you realize that your body finds it really hard to adapt to your day-to-day life. Before I forget, I'm just going to say this. You know, for example, when you have your diet, you know, when you're on your busy days, you have to realize that on your busy days, you're going to need more calories so that you have more energy to do what it is that you have to do every single day. And that's only when you have a lot of things going on. So that's why I do understand that if you're busy, you're going to eat more. But then on your days off, you should be eating less. So that way it makes up for the days that you eat more. You only eat additional calories if you're going to the gym at least 3 times a week, or you're walking 10,000 steps. And even before I did this video, I at least did my walk. I've been doing walks for like years, but I'm not paying attention to the years. I'm paying attention to every single day that I go on these walks. Rather than focusing on the bigger picture straight away, you just need to focus on your habits every single day and to choose to do this for yourself. In terms of foods that are high in fat and high in calories, I make sure that I eat less of it. So do you see what I mean? Because the foods that are like low in calories and low in fat, I eat more of it. And that's why whenever you eat more of something and it fills up the plate, you realize that you don't want to eat anymore, because subconsciously you think that you're eating like everything all at once because the plate is full, if you get what I mean. But for example, you know, when you're eating something that's high in calories, high in fat, and this is mainly like takeaways, when it comes to takeaways that you can eat, it's very convenient for the days that you don't want to cook. But then also you're thinking about how delicious the meal is. You're not thinking about the actual calories that takeaways have. But foods that are low in fat and low in calories, you can eat more of it. So these are like your protein bars. These are things that are like healthier alternatives. Because the thing is, some of you may love pizza. You may love a cheese pizza. You may love a margarita pizza, or even a barbecue pizza. But you have to realize that if you was to go to a shop and you was to cook it from scratch, you know what's in the pizza. It's very important that you eat the way that you want to, but you're just tracking it, so that way you're aware of what you need to do. Before I end this video, I just have one more thing to say. So in terms of, I'm trying to think. Yeah, fiber, that's it. So it's fiber and, yeah, I think fiber, and just realizing that, yeah, I think, here is the last thing that I'm going to say. So you may see that I have energy now because this is before the gym. And that's the thing, because you know, for example, when you have such a long day ahead of you, you have to make sure that your diet from the very beginning is on point. And that's why some people may skip breakfast, some people may eat breakfast. But let me just make this point. And I know breakfast isn't really like what I'm trying to say, but let me just say what I'm trying to say. So basically, my point is, you need to eat things that will help with your digestion, and to realize that when you eat breakfast, it gives you energy throughout the day. And some of you may disagree with that, but I'm just going to state the obvious. And also, you don't want to be eating late in the evening where your food is difficult to digest, because that's why your body needs to sleep, it needs to recover, and you burn calories naturally in your sleep. That's why I'm not insecure when I'm like filming a video and it's zoomed in on my face, because these are things that I can deal with. I can deal with little bit of spots. I can deal with like days where I don't feel like eating the healthiest, but I try my best to stick to it. But that's what I'm going to say, because when it comes to diet, it is up to you, but you have to make sure that you give it your best shot, and to eat things in healthier alternatives, to eat things in moderation. That is all I really wanted to say, because it shouldn't be complicated, but it should be a part of your lifestyle.